All right, this particular track is about defining maturity, and that's a bit of a problem for us. It's not a real bad problem. We just like to have fun, you know.
So, this is what Google fucking says: maturity, the state, fact, or period of being mature. That doesn't give me fucking fuck you.
That's bullshit.
That does not get...
because they're not even serious about being mature.
Okay, mature.
All right, so it's a great topic. We've talked about it before, but never in depth. Define maturity. You want to start?
Hold on.
Are you gonna read that?
This is Google. Fully developed, physically full grown, having reached the most advanced stage in a process. That doesn't talk about like...
That's bullshit.
Yeah, so I guess we're talking more about psychological maturity.
Yeah. They're talking about physical. We're talking about like, you know, the reality of things, you know?
Yes.
You know, between the both of us, we're almost 100 years old between the two of us.
Yes.
That's pretty wild. I'm 61. You're like...
I'm
whatever,
38.
38.
Wait, hold on. We should
that
be more
doesn't seem
mature.
to slow him down, does it? It doesn't slow you down.
Not at all.
No, look, if you want to be mature, like and act your age, guess what? You're going to be boring, and I wouldn't even know you.
I mean, like,
you know?
No, I get that. Like, is there like a certain, you know, like structure, like how you should be living, you know, as a mature man at certain ages? Like, where's the handbook?
Well, the handbook is reality, and you know, and I think it's basically the decades you live in and the period of the volcanic changes in society and the stuff going on with all the internet and everything. So, look, if you stay mentally young and you're physically growing older, it should theoretically keep you alive longer, because your mind is what rots. When your mind goes bad, that's when the rest of the body fails.
Absolutely.
You know,
like so. Sometimes when people say mature, they, you know, and they say act your age, you know, like it's usually like, you know, a reference to somebody acting silly, you know, like an adult acting silly. But are we not allowed to act? Like, what age does it get cut off where it's like, no, I have to be mature now. I can't laugh.
No,
let me put on my suit.
Correct.
You know?
That's bullshit. Whoever invented that was like stodgy old people who wear suit ties every day who can't chill the fuck out.
Yeah, fuck that shit. Like, that's not a fun life for me. Like, I like to laugh. There are times
laughter is healthy, man.
Absolutely.
Laughter heals. It makes you feel good inside. It does a lot of stuff for your brain. It stirs the alpha waves. You feel like you're on top of the world.
I like to laugh, and like I don't let anyone inhibit, you know, my enjoyment of laughter. I would never let anybody do that. How about is there like any like milestones you should hit as far as maturity? Like, should you have a house? Should you have a spouse?
They're talking about having a house, 2-car garage, kind of thing, and you got kids and all that shit.
Kids.
But that sounds like the old baby boomer thing, you know, which I'm a baby boomer, that whole fucking bullshit thing, you know.
Yeah.
It is what it is. Look at, like, we can have conversations that are the deepest conversations in the world, and in the same breath of air, we'll drift off into something that's funny, and then it kind of brings you to life, you know. It kind of levels you, it kind of takes the edge off, and then before you know, you're back to the serious conversation. I mean, maturity is just a word, really, in my personal opinion. I mean, I can act like a grandfather, which I am, but I like to actually act like I'm a younger person. I mean, I'm not trying to act that way. I mean, I don't mean to say it so bluntly.
Yeah, you are. And I think
I am what? You said you are.
no, you are like you are an adult,
I know, right?
But I also think that there's the idea of being able to self-sustain, to be able to take care of yourself, has to be one aspect of maturity. Can we agree on that?
Oh, totally. Look,
the
comic shop is 50 years old in 2019, so you know, I started since I was a young boy. I grew up and matured in the comic store, but you know,
shout out to Queen City.
There you go. Thank you. But even during the years when I was 20 years old, 30 years old, 40 years old, and 50 years old, I still have fun, but I still take care of my business. I'm still mature. I work a lot. But if I don't have fun, then I become like an old person. Look, my dad died when I was a young boy. He died when he was 38, and I was like a 15-year-old kid.
Wow. That's my age now.
That totally fucking sucks.
That's crazy.
But he was a great guy. He worked his ass off, and he was old school, right? But like, when my dad was 38, he reminded me of a man who was 38. I thought he carried himself a lot differently than I did.
See, that's the thing. I'm 38 now, and I remember
my dad would never act like this.
Yeah, I don't remember, like, you know, like, I don't feel like a 38-year-old man. But at the same time, I feel like a 38-year-old man because I am a 38-year-old man.
Well, I can feel the age that I am sometimes. I have good days and bad days, but overall, my friendships with people, you of course, and other people, my son and my customers, they keep me young and fresh. I get a chance to talk to people. If I can't talk about comic books all day, my life is shot. It's so it's about mental. It's about a state of mental awareness. If you're on top of your game, you know science, you know history, you know comedy.
What about the aspect of how you handle situations as far as maturity goes? Like, cause were you a hothead? I was a fucking hothead. When I was young, I was trying to fucking throw the hands like any fucking chance I got.
I threw the hands a lot when I was younger, and I regret some of it. But at least I probably got like a record of like 79-2, so I'm happy about that.
Fuck yeah.
Well, maybe not. Maybe 59. Okay, whatever.
But
it was the era where you fought, you were friends next day. That kind of thing. I don't think it's well in that.
But these days you kind of you can take the same route, but you choose not to. Is that a sign of maturity? Like that mental growth of like So I guess we could say like experience helps to build maturity.
Oh, it does. It does. There's times where when customers, if they came in the store and conversations automatically like went the wrong way, and the person tries to push you a little bit, it's like, look, dude, don't start any shit. Get out of the fucking store, and then it escalates the whole 9 yards. I don't do that anymore. I haven't done that in years. But there was a time where I had to defend myself by people just pushing me too far. It's like there's no need for some of the conversations people push upon you. They try to push their masculinity on you.
Yeah.
But it's like don't act like a hard guy in front of me. I'm the guy who's running the comic shop. It's a goddamn comic book store.
So I guess one thing that we could definitely agree on is that growth as a human being is a sign of maturity.
Yeah, I think that's the most obvious. Yeah.
So how you handle situations, and I like that. And I know I've grown. I've been a hardhead, and I look back on things that I did in my teens, and I'm like, I would be embarrassed to do that shit right now.
If I talked about the shit I did when I was a teenager, people would say I'm the biggest asshole in the world, and they might say that today because they know who I am. But it's all experience.
Even the way that I treated people in general. Like sometimes I look back, and it's like, you are a certain way when you're a teenager, and I feel like you are allowed, like a little bit of leeway, because you are a teenager. But like looking back now, I'm like, there's certain things I wouldn't have said. I would have handled situations a little bit more delicate. And so I guess the more mature you get, the more you stop thinking about yourself and start to, incorporate other people into your actions.
Yeah, you really do. The thing is, you also have to know exactly when you have to be mature in certain situations, whatever it might be. You could still, there's no law against this, you could still have fun, you could still laugh, you could have a mixed drink or 12, and you can have a real good time, Hennessy or whatever. Sorry.
Henny keeps me strong.
But you need to know exactly when you need to act like a mature person. Parents come in the store, a mother or a father with some young kids. You can't be a bunch of idiots dropping F-bombs in the store.
Yeah.
There's a time, but when they leave, you can still crack a joke and still have a lot of fun.
So social dynamics also plays a part. Because I see a lot of people that they're in a public place and they don't know how to interact. They're on their phone. They're having a conversation.
They're loud.
It's not benign.
Yeah, correct.
They're cursing.
Yeah.
There's kids around. There's older people around, and they're just not respecting, the general environment.
Well, those are
immature.
Like immaturity, and they're like 24-hour a day or 24/7 hotheads. They're never really going to mature. There's always going to be an asshole out there, right?
Yeah, so emotional stability plays a part in maturity as well.
Exactly. So if you could touch upon those things, is what I think. If you could touch upon those things, which you need to all the time, you're fine. There's no like you have to all of a sudden reach a certain age, and now, okay, guess what? I can't go out with you anymore, Julian, because, I'm kind of an adult now, so you're kind of too immature for me. No, that doesn't work. You can crack jokes when you're 78 years old if you want to, but you got to know when you need to be an adult.
Now, what about fashion? Like, is there any taboo fashion things? Like, what if I'm 40? Can I just wear a jersey and not be at like like Bill Stadium? Can I wear it anytime, or do I have to wear a Tom Ford 3-piece fucking suit and then when I'm out? How does fashion play, a part in maturity?
For me personally, I've been really cognizant of fashion and how it affects people because being a little older, I've seen photographs and stuff of different eras where people are wearing clothing that looks so outrageously outdated, it's almost like comical. If you check the majority of my photos in my 60 years of life, I've always strived to actually wear like non-iconic brands. I don't wear like icons on my shirts and things. Like I'll wear like the Flash icon, or I'll wear something
timeless,
timeless type stuff. So because I realized at an early age, sometimes you just look friggin' funny. You know, I had bell bottoms growing up. I had clogs once. I had puffy shirts. You're not going to catch any photographs of me doing that stuff. You know, I liked when I was a kid in the '70s. I had a white shirt, and I rolled my sleeves up, and I had the Marlboros in the sleeve. I adored the '50s in the '70s. You know what I'm saying? So some people don't do that. They're as pretty as every fashionable faux pas that takes place. They dress up, and you look at their photographs from 10 years ago, like, you dressed like a freaking asshole.
Like, that's just passe right now. How about, so you're a father? How does fatherhood, you know, or just being a parent in general affect maturity?
Well,
do you grow up like you like, oh shit, I got this kid right now, like I got to fucking man up?
Well, when I was young and the kids were growing up, I mean, I've always been who I am, right? I'm never going to be able to change. You can't deny that. And if you know me personally, you know who I am. I'm still kind of the same person I've always been. A little older, a little tired here and there, but
I fucking know you.
The thing is, like, I tried to act like I was better than I actually was as a real person when my son was growing up and my daughter, and then I realized...
Try to set the example.
I tried to set an example, but then I realized that example is all fake, because if you're not the person that you really are, your kids are going to grow up and saying, like, Dad, you lied all along. You never were the cool guy that you are. You were the stuck-up person.
That's
so
insightful.
I realized after a certain amount of time that my son needed to know exactly that, you know, this is who your dad is, you know?
So you advocate transparency. This is
Without
what I
a
am.
doubt. Yeah, exactly.
So you don't try to hold yourself up as a saint. You let your son and your daughter see the human qualities of who you are. So, you know, so they can better understand, you know, and better appreciate you as a father. No, I dig that. I dig that 100%.
Yeah, that's what I did with my children growing up, and they know who I am. They know I'm a little zany, but they love it, and they love me, and I love them, and we have good relationships.
Now, like, I know I've found this, like, there's been people that, you know, that have enjoyed their company and, you know, we've been really good friends, and then, like, they just haven't matured to the level of, like, where I'm at, and I had to let them go. Have you found that, you know, yourself? Or were you able to keep all your friends, you know, everybody's,
well,
you know,
I've got all my friends
level?
that are similar to my age. I still have all those friends intact, but people that I've met along the way, I've met a lot of employees in different eras and all the different, there's people from the 80s and the 90s and the 2000s and 2010s. And stuff. As time goes by, you know, they're not the same kind of person that I am, and and that's okay.
On a maturity level,
yeah, I'm a little different, you know, in some ways. I'm if you know me, you know, I'm a little different. You know, I'm a unique person. You know, I can't even begin to explain it. I'm an artist. I have a kind of a, you know, the suffering artist type of mentality. You know,
there's a catch of different personalities that reside inside who you are. No, I definitely dig it. I'm the same way. Yeah, no, I'm the same way. Because people, like, I'm a writer, so when I show people, like, you know, articles and shit that I write, they're like, holy fuck, like, how can you do that? That's what a writer can do. Like, they can invoke that, you know. But, you know,
an open-minded person has a tendency to be more transparent too, because they know who you are. You're a bit of a, you're a progressive thinker. You're open-minded about things. You're not all stuck up about, like, the stupidest things in the world.
I tend to, like, the older that I get, I tend to be more open-minded. Like, I used to be myopic, you know, where, you know, as a teenager or as a fucking kid, where I'm like, I'm not fucking looking at that shit. Fuck that shit. It's my way or the highway. You know, the older I get, I'm like, okay, I can agree with everybody else. I can bring everybody else's opinion in, you know.
I think that's a healthy way to be. I think it is, actually.
That shit's maturity.
Yeah, you hit it on the nose, man. That's exactly what we're talking about, maturity. I mean, it's reality's a bitch, right? There's no denying it, but you still got to cope with it, and you got to cope with life, and you got to cope with all the downs that happen in life. It's not a world full of positives, but you still have to cope, and you become a better person. We talked about this a few years ago. It's like I at this age right now, I can't stop absorbing more information. I need more information. I'm loving it to death. I can't get enough information. It makes me richer, and I can talk to people more.
I feel the same way. I didn't learn a lot of shit when I was in high school. Once I got out of high school and a couple years after, once I matured, I was able to understand the value of knowledge, and I wanted it more.
Yeah, no doubt about it, man. Well, it's the kind of thing where a lot of people have a tendency to not understand exactly what reality is about. It's just one of those things where you're going to know what you are about as your own personality. You're going to know how to control what you do, and you are the master of the decisions you make. If you've learned enough along the way, you'll know when the time is right to be mature and the time it is right. Well, you don't have to be mature.
If you had to say,
not a law against that.
If you had to say one last quick thing about maturity, like, what would you like want to give out to, like, the listening audience out there right now?
Well, I think you still need to respect elders. A lot of people don't. In this day and age where the world's changing so fast, and in a 5 to 10 year period we live in right now, we've seen changes that sometimes takes 50 years to take place. And a lot of people think that people from the baby boomer era or older people above that, they don't know what the fuck's going on. They think they're out of date. But you don't have to be on top of everything in the world that you think you need to. You just have to be able to be a smart, cognizant, and a fair-minded person.
I like that.
What would you say?
Well, the thing that I would say about maturity is that, wrapping up real quick, is that self-reflection to me is a great and a huge sign of maturity. If you can look at yourself and look at the demons and look at yourself in the abyss and come out a better person for it, you are mature.
Thank you. Good job, brother.
Good job, brother.
All right.
25% of the people are going to flip-flop. And then you have to decide, do you want to deal with the flip-flops? Is it worth it? Or do you just want to tell these people, I'm sorry, but I don't allow any negativity. But you have to put up this iron gate, I believe. Too many people allow negative people to bring them down and then just stay in their lives without saying anything. Like, you have a choice, you have a right not to allow negativity in your life.
I think you're absolutely right. And actually, that's a great Bill of Rights that you stick by. I mean, we all have a variation of that. I have a variation of too. I don't want to use the Iron Gate because it's yours, but every now and then I might name drop it once in a while.
Please do.
As a businessman and a person and a creative person, I do a lot of interesting things. You try to surround yourself with people who can be on the same wavelength that you are and who understand the groove you're in and the vision you're going for.